You are now entering Film Code.
I seen it. You're fond of me lobster.
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Your ass looks like about 150 pounds of chewed bubble gum, Kyle. You know that? Say it, sir! I don't believe you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Huh? Now answer my question. Were you rushing or were you dragging?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Film Code. My name is Phoenix Clouden, and we are very excited to have you join us because we are back with the two greatest co-hosts in the world. Of course, starting with our man, Zach Sneeds. Zach, how are you, sir?
Hey, Phoenix, doing good, man. I'm excited to talk about Violent Night. I think it's a great episode days. So, yeah, let's get into it.
All right, and also joining us today, he's devastated because he's soon realizing that his time at the top of the leaderboard is coming to an end, and I appreciate that so much. Welcome back, Brandon, sir. How are you, sir?
I'd say definitely don't become an audio descriptive narrator because that is definitely not as what is happening. That is definitely not what is going on. But no, it's good to be
I'm about
back.
to make the biggest comeback of all time.
Right.
Sure you are. Sure you are. Okay, pal. No,
sure, Jan. Sure, Jan.
Yeah, sure, Jan. But yeah, it is good to be back. It's good to be talking another movie. I finally got around to seeing The Fabelmans last night. My faith in cinema has been restored. Man, what a film that was. But we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Violent Night. So with that being said, how are you doing, Phoenix?
Man, I'm superb because it's Christmas time and, you know, a time for joy and cheer
and violence
and bloody murder, apparently. Yes. Like, it's so funny. When I saw the poster for Violent Night, my initial thought was that it was like violent, you know, horror Santa Clause, right? That was my thought, was like, oh, here we go again, you know, Santa Claus isn't snapped and he's killing people instead of giving presents. That was the idea that I initially went with. Then I finally saw the trailer and I was like, oh no, this spin is that Santa's real and there's a situation where Santa's got to go gangster. And I was like, yo, I dig it. And then you cast the Red Guardian himself, you know, David Harbour, in this role, and I'm like, yes. Why do I want this? I want this so much. So yeah, that was my appeal and the reason that I decided to go see it. And I gotta say, pleasantly surprised. Like, pleasantly surprised. I really, really enjoyed this one. Brandon, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mixed bag for me right now because I was sitting there, I was surprised, I was like excited at a lot of scenes. I was like, oh my god, they really just did that. But at the same time, I feel like there were aspects of the script I'm like, was this written for a rated R audience? Was this rated? Because like profanity aside, the story itself it felt like it was written for a G or PG audience. That's just me though. I could be the hot take here, but I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But I mean, like I said, mixed bag for now.
You know, I went in hoping that it would be good, and I will say, like, I was also pleasantly not surprised, I guess, but like I was satisfied with the movie. I thought it did what it was supposed to do, which was make me laugh and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And I think that with this movie, that's all that matters. You know, this isn't going for an Oscar. This is just, you know, for pure fun. And that's what I got out of it. So I really enjoyed
it. Same here. I was like, I didn't need it to, you know, it didn't need to, you know, be a big, bombastic, dramatic, you know, type of film. But like, I mean, we're talking about Santa Claus here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do love that there were elements of a mature theme here. I don't like Brandon, you said G or PG audience. I was like, well, I mean, like we've really lowered the standard for for PG. If seeing a guy get decapitated with an ice
I'm not
skate.
referring to the violence here. I'm referring to the aspects of the script itself, where just the writing. That's what I should say, not the script, the writing itself. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, for me, it's just I don't know. I don't want to dive into spoilers just yet. But I mean, like I keep saying, it was a mixed bag. There were great moments. There were moments. There were like, okay, this performance is pretty bad. Like, I know we've been hounding on the child actors all year. I think this falls into the bag of just okay child actors again this year.
Yeah.
Well, once again though, they're not going to be nominated.
Who said
they're not placed there to give the performance of their life.
No.
They're there to fill a spot to make a fun movie. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
like
yeah.
they don't have to be great.
I would say
they don't. They have to be decent. I thought they were fine. Like,
yeah.
But I'm not. Like, yeah, sure, it wasn't like the best performance, but it wasn't bad, like per se.
Right.
You know,
it wasn't like, jingle jangle bad. It wasn't
Moonfall. Don't even get me started with that movie.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that level. It was definitely, but it wasn't also come on level. It wasn't, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood level. But it was somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It was solid.
Wait, Zach, you've seen Jingle Jangle, or were you referring to Moonfall?
I was in Jingle Jangle.
You've seen Jingle Jangle
with mother.
Oh man, that was the funniest movie to review back in 2020.
Oh god,
the Netflix one.
Yeah. Yes, we
I hate that movie.
So do we.
It was so. Oh my god!
Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh, it was so bad. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, but aside from that, as far as like Christmas movies go, right? This is an interesting one, right? Because I'm like, I don't, how some people, some very wrong people, right, say that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, right? And those people are wrong, and they should be excised from existence. But like their meaning is like, well, I really don't even get their meaning, because they're the excuses that they make up for what technically is not a Christmas movie doesn't really make any sense. And I'm like, is it not a Christmas movie because it's technically an action movie? And I'm like, it's an action movie that takes place at Christmas. It's an action movie.
It's because it came out in summer.
Oh, it came out in summer.
But so listen, it doesn't matter.
No, that doesn't matter.
It literally takes place during Christmas.
Takes place during Christmas. The story wouldn't even happen if it weren't for Christmas. So I'm like, to me, that's a Christmas movie. I have that same question here. Like this takes place during Christmas. Hell, it has Santa in it. But it's an action movie, technically. It's an action movie. So does that mean it's not a Christmas movie, or can we obliterate that standard right now?
It's a Christmas movie. Our main villain, who was just okay, was pissed off that his Christmas got ruined, so that's why he's ruining other people's Christmases. So yeah, it's Christmas movie.
That was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious how petty his reasoning was. Like, it was just, I was dying laughing when he explained his reasoning.
Hey, hey, listen, John Leguizamo, man, he's had a good year.
He's gonna have a great year next year too in John Wick 4.
He is in that. Oh my god, yeah. He's killing it. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of the menu, but I dug it ultimately. He was great in it. In my opinion, he's way better here. Like his villain is psychotic. I think he plays him tremendously well. He got one of the biggest laugh moments for me in this movie. Like he got like three of the biggest laugh moments from me in this movie. Like so he was sensational. I dug John Leguizamo as Scrooge. Like I loved that concept where they all have like Christmas names,
Candy
nicknames.
cane, gingerbread.
Right. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, the fact that he goes like they're like, can we go by our real names? He's like, no,
Tonight.
not tonight.
Brilliant. I loved it. All right, so let's go ahead and break the seal and talk spoilers for Violent Night.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah, if you guys have not seen it, we highly recommend you check it out. And come back to this episode when you do and listen to our thoughts. All right. Brandon, why don't you kick us off with your spoiler thoughts now for Violent Night?
Yeah, man. The violence was fantastic. I'm just gonna get it right out of here. My favorite kill was the chimney scene where he takes John Leguizamo up the fucking chimney.
Dude, that was brutal. Oh my god.
Like I was not expecting that. Because when he started going up the chimney, I thought he was just gonna bring himself up there. He was gonna like body slam him or something. But man, he took him.
My absolute favorite part, I told Brandon this, is the Home Alone part.
Yeah.
Where they make it like crazy realistic. I'm like, what would actually happen if they set up traps like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was brilliant. I was dying laughing the entire time. And it was so gruesome too. And I was laughing so much. I love that.
This movie got an automatic thumbs up for me just for the respect of Home Alone. Okay. Like
yeah.
Home Alone is one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. And
I don't understand why the Academy hates it so much.
Yeah, I don't get it. But I'm like, and what's funny to me is I'm like, yeah, like somebody, I forget who, like it was a while ago. Somebody wrote like, I think it was Mick Foley. Yeah, Mick Foley. He was like, he wrote a treatise on like how the things that they do in that movie is more dangerous than what they do in a wrestling movie. like it's like and like because it was at the time where like parents were protesting professional wrestling for being too violent, and he was like, "But you let them watch Home Alone." It's like, do you understand what these things would do to an actual person? And like he broke down like, yeah, if you're taking like a bowling ball to the head at this velocity, like yeah, that's cranial damage, permanent. Like you know what I'm saying, like. He's like just broke down every trap that was set in Home Alone. It was like, yeah, this would cause way more damage than what you're seeing in this movie.
Yeah,
and I love like in this movie they're like, yeah, like we're taking that concept and we're going to really show you what it would look like. The one that got me was the dude. He sees the nail.
Oh yeah, he's ladder. Like, it's fine,
right? And he tries to like, but he doesn't see like the broken stair. Oh, like when he broke through and that thing went through his, I was like, oh, that was brutal. Like,
I laughed during when that happened. I was like, oh my
god. Same. Oh my god, can we take it back to the opening real quick?
Yeah.
Oh my god. When he's taken off from the roof of the bar and the barkeep, she's like, it's the real comments on her.
Dude.
That caught me so off guard. That was so funny.
I was like, I cannot stomach. I can't watch people like throw up. I can't even look at throw up. It's just so disgusting to me. So that almost pulled me out because I was just like, ugh. Like, but it was a hilarious scene. So yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. And I love how like he's telling like, you know, real Santa stories like that. Like, you're not driving, right? He's like, I steer, but the reindeers do most of the work. Like everyone's like, ha, we get it. You're Santa. It's like, no, dude, he's Santa. It's just hilarious. He's like, yeah. No one believes in me.
I loved his ridiculous backstory.
Yes.
So good.
That he was a Viking before who smashed heads. Like,
I was always on the naughty list.
All right. I love it. I love it. Because I mean,
that
like,
was so brilliant.
That's probably the thing that I like a lot about this movie is like when it comes to the mythos of Santa Claus, like there's a lot of different ways you can approach it, right? And like you have like the happy approach in like the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies, and then you have like I don't know if you guys saw the animated movie Claus, which I thought was really really good on Netflix. And that mythos, how that mythos was built, and then you have this one, and I kind of love this one a lot because it's like it's this concept that someone was taken from a previous time period who wasn't a good person and then was given this identity, this task of being Santa Claus, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, but that persona of who he used to be didn't go away. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I love that. And it just works so well here. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's something that most people hate, but I thought it was really cool.
I liked the gift bag too.
Oh yeah.
Like he just reaches in and it gives him whatever gift he needs.
That was another one of my favorite scenes where he's trying to find a weepon. It's
Die
like
Hard on Blu-ray.
video game.
Video game.
Die Hard on Blu-ray.
He's like, didn't anybody want a sword or something? I was like, yo, that's hilarious.
Like a baseball bat or a sword. Come on.
And like that's something else that kind of threw me off too, was like I was like, Santa is this mythological creature, said he's got some magical powers to him. And I kind of expected him to be like, like I mean he was pretty badass, yes, but like I kind of expected him to have like more mystical powers, what I'm saying, like be able to, I don't know, float and disappear and reappear or something like that, or multiply himself, or something like that. Just go, full ape shit. But instead, they grounded it in like Santa could die. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be killed. Like he was afraid of getting shot. He was afraid of like, what I'm saying. He had to wrap himself in a gift present to stop himself from bleeding. I was like, whoa! Like they went way more realistic with this concept than I initially expected.
Yeah, I think I appreciated that aspect of the movie. The fact it was made, Santa is also just like human, in the way that they're portraying them. He's not this like super powerful being. He's just like a guy who happened to become Santa Claus and gets a few different little powers. And like he doesn't even understand how most of them work.
He's like, explain how this bag works. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. This is like that's the line that I'm probably gonna quote in my review. It's just like Christmas magic. I still don't understand how it works. Like, and I'm like,
and talk about man, like I don't know. I know that like I don't know. I don't cry during movies, but like the storyline, like the only thing that for Christmas was like her parents to be together. I was like, oh, it was like so touching. I couldn't help it. Like I know it wasn't like that great of a narrative, but like I was like, that's like I don't know. I have a spot for
like
that, so.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, like that's the charm of using child actors, is that there's little things that they can do that just tug at your heartstrings. Like we talked about like those Home Alone booby traps she said, like they're incredibly violent. Like, what I'm saying, she killed like 2 people because of them, like, right? And when like Santa shows up, she goes, I set Home Alone traps. It was hilarious. Like, what? like no, bro, you just murdered people. He's like, yeah, but it was really funny. It's like okay, like that's the charm of a kid actor. Only a kid actor can get away with that. That's hilarious.
Man,
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite scenes is just that spoiled entitled rich kid.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Would he get
That
slapped or like?
Oh, whenever he was on screen, like listen, he's one of those characters you want to just like punch in the face.
Mm,
But at the same time, he was so funny.
yes. Like it's funny to me too, because I'm like, I get it. It's a Christmas movie. You want a happy ending, right? So no one in the family, none of them die, unfortunately.
well,
Like
except for
The
actor.
the boyfriend, but he wasn't real family. He could go. Like, but for the most part, the main family they survived. And I got it, but there was one character in there who I really wanted to die, like more than anybody. I know it's wrong. I know it would have made the movie way darker and way sadder.
was it the mom?
No, it was the dad. Like,
Oh, Jason?
yes, I wanted him dead. I'm sorry. He was so useless. like utterly freaking useless. Outside of giving her the walkie-talkie to talk to Santa, he had no purpose. Like he was such a wasted character. I mean, like not even like wasted. I get his purpose in the story. What I didn't like about him was that he was useless. Like he was literally useless. He couldn't fight. He couldn't defend himself. And
He
I was
couldn't
like,
even own up to what he did.
he couldn't even own up to what he did. And then like for part of the story to be about getting her parents back together, I was like, at least show us that he's got some use to him that makes him worth being with. But I'm like, in the final scene when they're fighting off, the guards and the criminals and all of that, I'm like, he gets taken out, and the wife wins the day, like by herself. Like, I'm like, what does she need him for? I was like that's all I kept thinking is like, what does she need him for? Like, she shot all of these people. Then when they had to take on somebody else, she's the one that killed them. Like,
yeah, I like that was nowhere near a repaired marriage.
right? Like, I'm just like, yeah, no. I'm like, if he had snuck up and stopped the guy from choking her out and killed him, then I'd be like, yay, come back together. But she did that all on her own. I was like, so what use does he have? Like, and then even at the end when they're like, oh, we gotta keep Santa warm, he's like, oh, let's burn all the money, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't do anything. Like he still died, so you just burn money for no reason. Like,
burn money for no reason.
It's just
and
like,
then, to bring him back, it was basically one of those true love's kiss type things.
right?
I believe.
Right, exactly. It's just like, dude, kill this guy. Like, I'm sorry, I hated that character. I get why everyone lived. You got to have a happy ending for a Christmas story. But
you know who he was played by, right?
I recognize the face, but I don't know his name.
Translucent from The Boys.
Ah, nice. That is him. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I recognized him when I saw the movie. I immediately knew that was Translucent.
I was like, he looks very familiar. And as soon as the film ended, I'm like, I need to look at the cast. I'm like, holy shit, it's Translucent.
Nice. I've forgotten about him because he's only in one season for like
an episode and a half,
like 3
2
episodes or something. Like, yeah.
What was I gonna say? I really liked the other characters, like the henchman characters.
Mm.
I thought they were hilarious too, and like the fact he kept telling him, "Don't say it," like don't call him Santa Claus. Like that was so funny. And they're like, "Well, how did he know my name?"
Right. That was like, again, man, John Leguizamo, bro. He had like 4 lines that just cracked me up. And dude was like, it's like, how did he know I wanted a bike? He's like, just guess. It's like saying, do you like big tits? Every kid wants a bike. Like, I was like, yes. Like, John Leguizamo fucking owned this role, bro. It was so funny. He's so good in this.
It was great. And then his whole backstory of why he hates Christmas is just like he
It's
was
very out
accused
of left field.
of murdering his neighbor, and his parents never forgave him.
I'll dig it too. And I'm like, it's kind of funny that he went with the name Scrooge and not the name Grinch, right? Because his backstory kind of more aligns with the Grinch than it does, Scrooge. But like, I get it.
You know what gets me though is like, they could have used the word Grinch because it's a universal picture.
Yeah, they totally could. Well,
That's
I don't know.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity for sure.
But I mean, then again, Scrooge wanted money.
Yeah,
that's for 300 mil.
Like that's the reason why I was like, okay, Scrooge kind of works because of his greed. But yeah,
I loved David Harbour in this, by the way.
So good.
He was great.
He was really great.
So good. Like by the end of this, I was like, I don't know if it'll happen, but I want a sequel. like
they could totally happen.
Oh yeah.
I want a sequel too. I really want a sequel.
I was just like, something about this works. And I'm like, David Harbour could literally play this role like forever. like this would be one of those things where you signed up for one project, you stumbled into it. I was like, oh, cool, that'll be cool as a one-off. And next thing you know, like, nah, bro, you're in like a trilogy. I'm like, because that it just owned it. And I think this character and this story, there's more room for it. I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah, because like especially since Stranger Things is almost over,
right?
Like you could totally. Hey, his schedule's about to be free because I don't think they're going to be doing anything with his character in Marvel anytime soon.
Thunderbolts, but I think that's probably already shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's time, bro. Like, yeah, David Harbour. I think you stumbled into a nice little piece of change here, because this was really great. I don't know how it's doing at the box office. I'm not sure if it's like tearing up the numbers or whatever, but like I imagine this is going to be a pretty big hit. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out in theaters right now, but most of it is like the awards fair, and a lot of people don't go to see those movies. They especially haven't been doing so this year. But so I think this is going to clean up a great deal at this time. So
one last thing I want to mention. The funniest thing, one of the funniest scenes in that movie for me is how they're self-aware of how Christmas is, of just with cookies and milk. Of just how like if they leave milk out, it sours, and he's like trying to drink the milk. It's like, oh my god. And then another one who's like, skim. And then he finds the alcohol stash in the rich house, and he's like, well, that's some pre-war stuff.
Yeah. That was some, like, again, David Harbour, man, he owned this role. Like, he just had so many great moments. Like, obviously, like, the drinking stuff is great. The violent stuff was great. But, like, even, like, the Santa Clause mythos things that he leaned into, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would bite a cookie and be like, oh. like he wouldn't, like, fully say ho, ho, ho. But it was, like, it was hilarious because it would be, like, yeah, just like a little, like a little warm belly treat. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, man, I think he did an amazing job, and I just want to see more. I want to see more of his character.
Yeah. Also, you know what? I saw this movie, and one thing that surprised me is I saw there was a mom with her two little kids there.
Oh wow.
They were like maybe at most the oldest was 6.
Mommy Hops is in this.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you explain this to a child? Because like there's one scene in there where she goes, what was it? What was the kid's name again?
The main kid?
Yeah.
Trudy, yeah.
Trudy? Mm-hmm. That wasn't her full name though, right?
No, it's Gertrude.
Yeah, remember? She goes, I go by Trudy, and the grandma goes, that sounds like a whore name. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you explain this to a child? Like,
oh my god.
Like what?
No, what killed me was the scene where the dad admits that Santa isn't real and like, and just devastates the little girl. I was like, oh man, I can't imagine having a kid who's believed in Santa this whole time and you be like, you just shatter their dreams like that. Like, ooh, that like, you know what I'm saying? Like that got to me, even though my kids don't believe in Santa. I'm like, I can't imagine like if you had a kid who did, like that would just be an awkward situation. Like, and I thought it was played very well.
Dude was about to lose his balls.
Yeah, he'd say anything at that moment.
So Zach, I'm glad you mentioned something funny that the grandmother said, because when this rich, spoiled, entitled kid, who he was like when they cut the feed of like the Wi-Fi and communications, the kid was like, Grandma, your Wi-Fi fucking sucks.
She goes,
and she's like, I told you should have beat him when he was younger.
Right? Like she was so good. She was so good. Oh, like, oh my god. Like she was my favorite character. Like before when she's walking around on the phone, just cussing out a senator. Like, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, which is making me wonder. I'm like, dude, that theater you had with a 6-year-old, I'm like, that's a lot of conversation you're having on the drive home. Like,
Mommy, what's a whore?
Right, exactly. Like just a lot to deal with in that conversation. But man, overall, man, I just had a blast with this. I really had a blast with it. It gets, like I said, it's got cool points for recognizing that Home Alone is one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. Uh, I did hate the father. Nothing about him. I found redeemable. If they'd have killed him in the end credits, I would have been happy.
I really like the hammer he used to.
His old reliable wherever. Yeah. What was it? What was the name of it?
Skull Crusher.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
or was it? Yeah, Skull Crusher. And I loved how he's telling the story to the little girl when she's asking him about his life. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, let me tell you, an 8-year-old kid about how I used to be a literal Viking who would murder people.
Which I thought was a fun contrast to like earlier in the film where she says ass and he's like, whoa, hold on, let's pull it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a second. So it's okay to tell her this horror story about you smashing people's heads, but can't say ass. Like, really, Santa? Like, let's find a decent balance here. Like,
what did he say? What did he say when she said it? He was like,
you want to stay on the nice list,
right?
He was like, that's questionable or something.
Right.
Oh, like, no, she said butthole.
He's like, yeah.
He's like, that's borderline.
That's borderline.
Yeah.
He's like, how about anuses? He's like, okay, yeah, that's the technical term. Yeah, that's fine. like that's it has some great comedic moments. David Harbour was amazing. John Leguizamo was amazing. I loved his cast of thieves. I thought they were great too. They had some really funny moments, especially Candy Cane. Yeah, overall, I dug the hell out of this movie. So I'm curious, what did you guys think was your final rating for Violent Night?
I think a solid 3 stars. I think that's a perfect score for it. Like it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was decent, had some great moments. So yeah, solid 3 stars for me.
All right, Zach, what do you got?
I'm gonna give it 4 stars like it deserves because I like fun.
Okay, pal.
And I like Christmas, unlike some people, so you know.
Oh man, I'm going 4 stars as well. I had a blast with this, man. It was just super fun. And like I said, I want 2 more. Like at least 2 more. Make it
I'm
a
up for a
night.
trilogy.
Yeah. Make it a Violent Night trilogy. So we have Violent Night, so we should have We Wish You a Violent Christmas. And maybe it's violent outside or whatever. Like whatever it is. But that's how I like it. So 4 stars from me and Zach, 3 stars from Brandon. And that's what we thought of Violent Night. Let us know what you guys thought. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at FilmCoPod and leave us your thoughts there. All right. So before we get up out of here, let's leave everyone with some recommendations. Zach, what has been good for you this week?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
So I've seen a few different things since then. Not anything amazing that'll blow your socks off. But I did see, spoiler alert, and Empire of Light. If I had to go between the two, I would say Spoiler Alert was my favorite. Personally, I gave it 3.5, so it's a pretty good movie. I think it's a touching movie, and you should go check it out.
All right, Brandon, what do you got?
Okay, so I already mentioned the Fablemans earlier, so I'm not going to go with that, but go see the Fablemans. But keeping with the spirit of Christmas, I am not kidding when I say this. One of the best Christmas movies, Jingle All the Way. It's always an annual watch for me. I am not kidding. Like everybody hates that film for some reason. I don't know. Like even though I give it a solid,
I love that movie.
It's so good. Like I actually have a Turbo Man. I have a real Turbo Man. From Funko.
Nice.
They sold them last year, so I'm like, I need to get one. So it's in a storage unit somewhere. I gotta find it. But man, that movie is just so freaking funny. I remember I used to watch as a kid, and then just from there to now, it's just crazy how much I've just continued to watch it every year.
It's amazing to me because that movie like really speaks to the consumerism of Christmas. And I think it's weird that people like kind of don't like it. I'm like, but we live this every year, like this reality of trying to find that gift that you absolutely have to find. So yeah, and bro, I wanted a Turbo Man for the longest, so I'm mad jealous of you right now. But yeah, I freaking love that movie. So for me, it's finals week. I have not been able to get out to a theater to see literally anything. I think Violent Night was the first movie I saw all week. But so I went back and rewatched a couple of things, and I am recommending one of my favorite actors is Will Smith, and I'm recommending a movie of his that I think got a really bad rep, but I thought was really unique, and that's Collateral Beauty. It's a very interesting story about a man going through a psychotic break and how his friends make it worse, right? But is in service to bring him back to who he was. And I thought it was an interesting concept, and I liked its execution. It also has Helen Mirren in it, Kate Winslet, a couple other actors whose names I'm forgetting, but I dug it. So it's worth checking out. Again, like I said, it gets a bad rep, but so does Jingle All the Way, and those people are wrong, and they should be excised from society. So you got Spoiler Alert, Jingle All the Way, and Collateral Beauty from us. That's a eclectic mix. Let us know what you guys think of those movies, and we are gonna get up out of here today. Zach, let everybody know where they can find you, sir.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Zach Sneath. That's ZachSneath. And you guys can find me on Letterboxd at Z Sneaks, where I give movies just like Violent Night 4 stars because I like fun. So go check me out over there.
Brandon, where can everybody find you?
You guys can go find my fun takes over on Letterboxd at FANTASMIC ears over on Letterboxd. That is fantastic ears. Go check out what I'm watching. I'm officially a college graduate, so I've been watching a ton more movies over the past week.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm excited to finally start being able to go to the movies full time. Not full time, but more often now. So,
right.
Yeah. So thank you guys again for listening.
I am in the middle of finals week, so I have not been going to the movies. But congrats again to Brandon for graduating college. I will be there in about 6 years. No, kidding. It should be less.
Okay.
But anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter at IamHOReviews1. That's the number 1, and on Letterboxd under PA Clouden. And as always, guys, please follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at FilmCoPod. And we will see you guys next week. We are out of here. Peace.